Using AI for smarter cold calling strategies. Cold calling isn't dead, it's getting smarter. Cold calling has never been easy, but in 2025, it's still one of the most direct ways to create net new pipeline, especially when it's paired with AI. Recent reporting shows that 50% plus of B2B leads still originate from cold calls, and 49% of buyers prefer phone as the first touch, which is exactly why modern teams are doubling down on better targeting and tighter execution. At the same time, AI has moved from nice to try to hard to ignore across outbound. Sales AI adoption jumped to 43% in 2024, with reps using it for written outreach, forecasting, and lead scoring, meaning your competitors are increasingly letting AI decide who gets called first and what the first 15 seconds should sound like. At SalesHive, we see the same pattern across cold calling services. The phone channel isn't the problem, the workflow is. When AI handles the grunt work, prioritization, research, and follow-up orchestration, human cold callers spend more time in real conversations and fewer hours buried in tabs, notes, and CRM cleanup. The math behind modern cold calls, and why teams feel stuck. Most teams don't struggle because their reps lack effort. They struggle because the baseline math is unforgiving. Average cold calling success rates commonly sit around 2 to 4.8%, with B2B closer to 5%, and connection rates hovering near 16.6%. So even small improvements in who you call and when you call compound fast. The hidden killer is capacity. Many orgs still run calling like a brute force game. Big lists, generic openers, and inconsistent follow-up. But if reps only spend roughly 35% of their day actually selling, they don't have enough high-quality at-bats to overcome weak targeting, even with strong talk tracks. This is why the best cold calling companies treat AI as an efficiency layer, not a novelty layer. If you can increase connects, reduce research time, and standardize post-call execution, your meetings per SDR rise without increasing headcount or dial volume. Start with targeting and timing before fancy call AI. If your list quality is weak, no real-time coaching bot is going to save your program. The highest leverage starting point is AI-powered lead scoring paired with intent signals, so your SDR agency or internal SDR team calls accounts that are both a strong ICP fit and actively showing buying behavior. Done well, AI scoring can materially shift outcomes. Companies implementing AI-based lead scoring often report 20 to 30% higher conversion rates, sometimes 35 to 50%, and 10 to 20% revenue growth in the first year. That's why we treat prioritization as the foundation of B2B cold calling services, because the fastest way to raise meetings booked is to stop calling maybe accounts first. The most common mistake we see in sales outsourcing is using AI to blast more bad calls instead of fixing targeting. The solution is unsexy but dependable. Tighten your ICP, enrich your data, connect intent and engagement signals, and let scoring rebuild daily call queues so reps spend their best hours on the best accounts. Design the AI-augmented calling workflow so reps actually use it. AI works best as your SDR's co-pilot. It does the prep and the paperwork, while your rep focuses on tone, discovery, and handling nuance in real time. In practical terms, that means AI should assemble the calling queue, summarize relevant context, role, triggers, recent activity, and suggest a tight opener that a human can deliver naturally. Next, remove the post-call drag. If your cold calling team is still typing notes, updating fields, and building follow-up tasks manually after each conversation, you're bleeding capacity. AI-generated call summaries and auto-created CRM tasks can give reps their momentum back, especially when paired with a light human review to keep notes accurate and compliant. Finally, blend phone with coordinated follow-up so outcomes don't depend on rep memory. At SalesHive, we pair B2B cold calling with structured sequences, including cold email, and we use AI personalization to keep messaging relevant at scale. Our eMod engine is built for turning consistent templates into prospect-specific outreach without turning your program into robotic spam. AI should do the homework so your reps can do the human work. Use conversation intelligence to coach, not to police. Call recording, transcription, and analytics are only helpful when reps trust the intent. If you frame conversation intelligence as surveillance, adoption collapses. If you frame it as skill development, your best practices spread faster. The goal is to identify what actually correlates with meetings, openings that earn permission, questions that uncover pain quickly, and stories that land with specific personas. The ROI can be meaningful when teams consistently execute the next best actions that AI recommends. Gong has reported up to 35% higher win rates for teams using its AI capabilities, and deals where reps completed all AI-recommended to-dos, seeing roughly 50% higher win rates, making coaching and follow-through a revenue lever, not just an enablement project. Orchestration matters too. SalesLoft reported that SDRs using its AI-powered rhythm workflow saw a 57% productivity lift and booked 23% more meetings for the same activity. When your outbound sales agency or internal team pairs coaching insights with a workflow that tells reps what to do next, you get more consistency and faster ramp time. Avoid the AI mistakes that make you sound robotic or non-compliant. The quickest way to damage a calling program is letting AI write scripts unchecked. Unedited AI talk tracks tend to sound generic, and generic gets you hung up on. The fix is simple. Let AI draft variants, but require sales leaders and top reps to refine them, test them live, and lock the winning patterns into templates that AI can personalize from. The second failure mode is over-automating follow-up. Auto-calling, auto-voicemailing, and autopilot sequences without clear rules can come off as spammy and lead to opt-outs, especially in regulated industries. A better approach is for AI to recommend the next step and cue it, while humans add light-touch personalization for high-value accounts and you enforce caps on frequency. The third risk is ignoring compliance and transparency. Recording consent and disclosure requirements vary, and unannounced recording or unclear AI involvement can create legal exposure and erode trust. The right move is to work with legal to define compliant language, bake it into dialer workflows, and train reps so your telemarketing and telesales motion stays both effective and defensible. Measure AI by meetings and revenue, not by features. AI tooling is easy to buy and hard to operationalize, which is why we recommend tying every use case to one measurable outcome: connects per 100 dials, meetings per SDR, SQLs per 100 accounts, opportunity rate, and ultimately, win rate. If an AI feature doesn't move at least one of those metrics within a quarter, it's either misconfigured or it's not worth the complexity. A clean way to prove value is a 90-day experiment. Pick one part of the workflow, lead scoring, post-call admin, or opener personalization, benchmark the baseline for a pod, and run a controlled rollout. This is especially important if you're comparing in-house execution to outsourced sales team performance or evaluating cold calling agency partners against internal teams. There's a macro reason to be disciplined here. McKinsey estimates generative AI could unlock $8 to $1.2 trillion in annual productivity in sales and marketing. The teams that capture that upside won't be the ones with the longest tool list. They'll be the ones that connect AI directly to pipeline throughput and repeatable execution. What's next? How to scale AI cold calling without losing the human touch. The direction is clear. Gartner predicts that by 2028, 60% of B2B seller work will be executed through generative AI technologies, and a meaningful portion of outbound messaging will be synthetically generated. The winners won't be fully automated AI callers. They'll be teams that use AI to improve relevance, speed, and consistency while keeping the conversation human. If you're deciding whether to build internally or partner, the right answer depends on your resources. Building an in-house stack offers control, but it requires RevOps bandwidth, data hygiene, and ongoing vendor management. Partnering with an outbound sales agency or sales development agency can be faster when you need pipeline now. Either way, insist on strong list-building services, clear governance, and proof that AI is improving meetings and revenue, not just generating activity. At SalesHive, we've seen the most consistent results when AI is embedded into a complete motion. Scoring and segmentation, B2B cold calling, and coordinated follow-up through cold email. If you're evaluating a cold calling agency, SDR agencies, or broader B2B sales outsourcing options, look for a partner that can show how their AI workflows translate into more qualified conversations, better follow-through, and measurable pipeline growth.